Hello, I am Edward Pandemonium. Welcome to my Patreon page. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness that you bring. And for those of you who've heard me complain that everything on the internet is a video now, yes, I'm doing a video now. Because apparently people like them. I enjoy texts, but people like videos, and I'm not talking to myself. So here it is. What we're doing with this Patreon is we're essentially trying to create a fundamental shift in the way that the left-hand path is working today. And this is a shift more toward the secular, more toward the mundane, and away from occultism. Not completely away from occultism, but in terms of what we do in our work, it's much more focused on world building in general. And to highlight this, I want to say something about the word mundane. I talk about the secular left-hand path, the mundane left-hand path. The word mundane means pertaining to the world, but so often we think of it as meaning boring or tiresome. We describe those things as being mundane. So if that's the way that we're thinking about the world, I think that strongly highlights why this work is necessary and what its purpose is. Now, what I mean by this shift and the necessity for it is the fact that for something like 150 years, people in occultism, spirituality, have been talking about some kind of new age or new eon, essentially since the Theosophists. And I think by now we can see that these are not the people who are actually going to make it happen, or it would have happened by now a long time ago. And so what we need to do is we need to start applying some of these things that we talk about in the abstract in a more tangible, a more concrete way, a more projected way onto the world around us. So, what I've been doing is I've been reading and watching videos by Peter Diamandis, Ray Kurzweil, people like that, and learning about these various new technologies that are coming out, the spatial web, virtual reality, nanotechnology, 3D printing. We have all these things, and they're not just devices, they're not just toys. They're things that are going to radically alter every aspect of our lives. And this is just one example using technology. And my thought is that while people in the occultosphere, if we want to call it that, are not grounded in what's happening now, these people who are really the magicians of the new eon, because they are the ones making these things happen, they don't have any kind of central vision or concept of holistic life, with regard to these changes that are coming. And very bad things could happen. These technologies can give us great advantages, but terrible things could happen. Speaking purely as an anarchist, I am alarmed by the idea of governments getting some of these technologies first and having godlike super powers that, like, the average human being doesn't have. At that point it's essentially game over in terms of liberty and freedom and dignity of human life. And so what I would like to do is to get in there and to do what I can to make sure that these things go the right way, to kind of align the left-hand path philosophy and vision with the highly, radically transformative things that are coming in the next couple of decades, so that it all works out the right way. Now, what I am thinking of specifically is a kind of triangulation between the idea of pure human potential, because we're at a point now where we're dealing with the mind, with creativity. These technologies allow us to instantly manifest the contents of our minds and imaginations in the world. So, and also going forward, most work, most careers are going to be based on problem solving and creativity and imagination and things like that. So the future that we're talking about is essentially a future based on magic, based on consciousness, based on the mind fire. And if you are subscribed to the basic $1 tier on this Patreon, you can read my papers on what I'm calling the fourth wave and understand what I mean by that. So what I am trying to do is, in a sense, you're probably familiar with John Dee. If you're not, you need to be. John Dee, in the Elizabethan age, had a kind of Gnostic, alchemical, apocalyptic vision of the future, and he went on tour to talk to not only other intellectuals of his time, but also to whatever princes and kings and emperors would listen, to try to facilitate this. And in some ways he was not successful, but on the other hand he was probably the most successful magician in history, because he was the first person to use the term British Empire, I think, and that worked out well for a while. So what I'm trying to do is very similar. I'm trying to get into a place where I can create a network of people in both the fields of human intelligence, human creativity, human potential and development, but also people in the social sciences dealing with finance, law, things like this, and also these people in the technical sphere, and to try to create a kind of integral, holistic vision for the future. Now, you might wonder why these people would listen to me. That's kind of the big question. Why would these people who are billionaires and masters in their fields listen to me? Maybe they won't, but maybe they'll listen to people who do listen to me. I don't know. I'm just going to try to take it as far as I can, meet the people that I can meet, create the network that I can create, and do the best I can, because we have a very short window of opportunity here, a very short window of opportunity and a very short window of challenge. And I don't really see anyone else stepping up to do the kind of thing that I'm trying to do. So that brings us to the bottom line. Meeting these people is going to cost money. I'm going to have to join groups. I'm going to have to go to conferences, and it's incredibly expensive. Peter Diamandis, he has this thing called Abundance Digital. It's a fantastic thing. It costs $1,500 a year to be a member. And to go to conferences and meet with people face to face is even more costly. But here's what we can do here on Patreon. A number of these Patreons where people are artists or models or musicians or whatever, they take your patronage, they give you rewards, and that's it. It's an exchange, and that's all well and good. I'm offering rewards here, and I'm looking for ways that I can create value to provide better rewards, more rewards. But what I really want to do is emphasize the community feature here, that we can get together and we can look at this together, that you can be involved, and as I go into these spheres, I'll be reporting back everything that I learn, all of my experiences, all the progress that I make, and bouncing ideas off of you as well, and sharing the tools and information that I find, and It's sort of like if we all went to some kind of musical festival or to Disney World, but we all got in on one ticket. That's basically what I'm trying to do here. And so I hope that you will, I hope this resonates with you. I hope this sparks some kind of inspiration in you, and I hope that you will be willing to help, because the future is what we make of it. The future is ours if we want it to be. And I thank you.